Hey everyone, and welcome to Self-Help Fitness. Today we're at Omega Chiropractic with Dr. Troy Myers. Let's find out why. Hey everyone, and welcome to Self-Help Fitness. We're here on location again with Omega Chiropractic and Dr. Troy Myers. And today we're going to start our full body mobility series where we're going to take you through each body part. We're going to start with the foot and go all the way up to the head. Now, our main goal for you is that we're going to teach you guys exercises that are going to maximize your mobility. Okay, so he's going to kind of go over the foot real quick with you, just kind of how it works, because again, understanding how it works on a basic level is going to give you a little bit more information so you can take it a little bit deeper, especially with the two exercises we're going to show you. All right, so let's get to it. Dr. Myers, go ahead.
Okay, so most people have some type of inversion sprain sometime in their life. It just happens. It's honestly about 80% of the sprains that we have in there.
What's an inversion sprain?
Inversion sprain is, you know, where you plant your foot and then it rolls out from underneath you. So the foot goes inward. Okay? So then you sprain, you have that big swelling on the outside part of your foot. Okay. So most people are like, oh, it goes away, I ice compress, elevate, you know, the normal things they tell you to do. Never really get it addressed later on unless they feel like they broke something, and then they just kind of let it heal up, go on and make daily life. So, bad thing is, what a lot of times it does is it will damage the internal stability of the foot, your ligaments, okay? And that will cause the shifting of the bones. Now, what main ones we're going to kind of focus on is your calcaneus, so your heel, and then your talus, which is the bone right underneath the lower leg. Okay? So most people, honestly, 89% of people are a pronator. So that's where their arches look like they're collapsed. Flat foot, kind of just a big slapping foot.
Which is a lot of the sitting, because the sitting is forcing that outside line inwards.
Yep. So we'll definitely go more into how the foot and the glutes and the lines kind of interconnect with each other. So we're going to talk about what this heel does. So a lot of times what happens when they have that flat foot, it actually will rotate inwards, so it kind of continues in. And when that happens, that arch, it will elongate the foot. Okay, so there you get your plantar fascial problems. And when that happens, that talus will actually subluxate backwards also, and then your navicular, right here in the middle part of the arch, will start to fall. So what happens is your foot goes from like this to like that. Okay? When that also happens, it causes an internal rotation of this lower leg, your tibia, and then an external rotation of the finger. So now you have a lot of torsion happening in the knee itself. Now, we don't want any of that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus a lot on what the calcaneus is doing, your heel. Okay? So one of the easiest ways to do that is to just take off your shoe. You can kind of prop it up on this just to kind of give it some elevation. And then all you do is you get your heel, follow the heel of your hand to the inside part of your heel, kind of grab the other leg, and all I want you to do is sit there and mobilize that heel. Don't be afraid to kind of get some good push on that heel.
See, that's my bad legs.
Let me just make sure that you guys can see it. And all you're doing is mobilizing that heel. Every now and then you'll feel it kind of click, and then it's like, oh, it kind of frees it up. Okay? Then another part, since we want to try to get the forefoot, the midfoot, this area of the arch to start moving, is you can either, I would suggest kind of if you're at home, you can take your sock off and kind of loop up your fingers, stick your fingers in between your toes, kind of move the other hand here, a little bit off where the lower leg meets the ankle, and all you do is just rotate all that whole midfoot area, okay? So think of your foot as like a tank, like the size of the tank, how it has all those mini things where it rolls over rocks and trees or whatever, it just kind of will shift. That's the way your foot's designed to be. So if you step on something, one part moves up, the other part adjusts. It's supposed to be a very mobile area.
And this gives us a cue that we should be outside barefoot more often.
You got it.
And it's the walking on the flat floors, you guys. It's being the wrong shoes. It's constantly flattening out your foot.
Yep. You're not engaging that foot, it becomes weak, and then it can't adjust to the terrain. Okay? So we mobilize that heel, we mobilize that internal foot, and then that's what we kind of do for mobility, just the basic getting your stuff started. Because if the thing is locked up and the joint's locked up and you do all the other fascial stuff, you're kind of limiting your success. So just as step one we do is to get the joint to have a little bit more play, get that stuff broken up, the adhesions gone, and then we kind of go to step two.
The first thing I'm noticing for you guys is if you're having more pain in your foot, or if you're not really sure what you want, how to mobilize your foot, I'm noticing this is kind of easy. You know, you're just taking your hands, propping it up. You don't have to use a foam roller. You guys should have a foam roller, but yeah, this is fun.
Yep.
Pretty easy. Okay, how long would you say that we by doing?
I probably go back and forth a good 5-10 times.
Okay.
At first, it might be a little locked up. You can kind of like, I'm not getting much motion or play in there. Then you might have to do a little bit more. But once you've kind of done this for a little bit, you'll feel like, it's moving pretty good. That's what I wanted to happen.
So the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to use this bar, and you can use a simple bar that you got at home. Now, for me, what I usually do is I don't have people. This is not like foam rolling where you guys are going to roll the foot. You're not going to get much out of that. This is going to be a situation where you guys are going to want to stand, and you're going to put up like detective, like we've talked about with foam rolling before. And you're going to find those spots. So on the left side of my foot out there, I can find it's, definitely knotted up a little bit. So I'm just going to apply pressure. And the key thing when it comes to getting fascia tissue relaxed and breaking up the body is breathing. So obviously right now I'm talking, but what I want to do now is take deep breaths. And it's those deep breaths that are pulling energy into the body. I'm letting energy out. And that's what I want. Is I got a bunch of energy in my foot right now that's trapped. So what I want to do is I got to get it out. And so it's a two-part process. It's putting pressure on that area and then also breathing. Okay, so you can start with the front of the foot, you can just work your way. You can do both feet if you want. I've been doing this a lot, so you guys can see I've got pretty good ability to stand on it. As you guys get into the back of your foot, you're going to find it's generally a lot more tender. Okay, now after you break the fascia tissue out, what you want to do real quick is just give it a couple 360s, back and forth, front and back, and you might get some good pops out there, but you're generally going to get the fascia tissue popping out, which is not the same as if you've got a ligament passing through the bone. Okay, and we'll talk about that in the future. The other thing you can do if you don't have a bar, if you guys got lacrosse balls, is we can use the ball to do it. And the ball is going to give you different texture. One thing that I'm going to tell you guys as a personal trainer dealing with clients and foam rolling like crazy and just doing it myself is that textures change everything. So you might be getting a lot of tissue work out with the bar, and then you might find after a couple of weeks you're not getting as much out because your body, your nervous system is adapting to it. And it's going, okay, I've got as much out of that as I can. And it's not saying you can't come back to the bar, but you might need to change it up. And two, these textures are going to allow you to get into the joints a little bit differently, get into the ligaments, tendons, everything. Kneel down, that helps. There's also, it's really, when it comes to breaking a fascia, there's not too many wrong ways to do it. We'll go over some areas that may not want to roll, but other than that, it's pretty simple. So what you're going to want to start with is we're going to break up the fascia tissue. So we started with this exercise, we broke it up with just using your hands. Then we advanced it a little bit using the bar or the ball. Okay, so now let's stretch and flex it a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to use the TheraBand here. Now, with this exercise, as a trainer, when I'm looking at people's feet, I deal with a lot of ankle injuries and feet injuries, believe it or not. And so, with it, when I'm trying to strengthen the foot, I'm going, okay, who has the strongest feet? Generally ballerinas. Okay, so what would a ballerina do, okay, to strengthen their foot? So, one of the best things you guys can do, and ideally you probably want to take your socks off, but you're going to put these feet, you don't have to, but you're going to put your foot in there, you're going to get you some resistance. And what we're going to do is, the reason why we're using this TheraBand is it's going to allow us to activate our toes. Okay, so it's not just about using and flexing that foot back and forth and going in and out and getting all the mobility there, but it's about taking those toes and opening them up as you squeeze down and trying to use them. So with this left leg being my bad leg, for example, my left pinky toe doesn't work as well. Remember, your toes are connected to different parts of your body. So if you've got toes that aren't working, then other parts of your body aren't activating either. So this is an opportunity for you guys to go through and say, man, this toe is really strong. Ooh, my big toe just pops up. Yeah. So the small toe may not be working, but yeah, just play with it, take it around, do both feet. It's not that hard. But you're just focusing on getting as much mobility in that foot as you guys can. All right. Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Morris?
Definitely the pinky toe and the big toe are super important. So when you look at your foot, you have 3 arches in your foot. So you have big toe area, pinky toe area, and your heel. So whenever you have a lateral arch, transverse arch, and your medial arch. So think of it like a tripod, okay? So your arch, you're supposed to have those 3 strong arches in there. Now if you, typically it's your lateral arch because we have that inversion sprain like we talked about before, so it's kind of rolling, you kind of mess up the outside stability. Then it progresses to your feet start to kind of flatten out, so that's why it's so important that we get this forefoot to start moving, like the ball and the stick, just get that whole tissue to start moving. And then it will progress to the whole flat foot with the medial arch. So the more you can kind kind of get those toes, especially your big toe and that pinky toe, the better your arch stability will be.
Okay. And let's review. We got the first exercise. We're just going to mobilize our foot with our hands with the foam roller, or whatever you got at home. The next thing, again, we're going to do more tissue work. So basically, the first two are really just doing tissue. After that, you're just going to stretch and flex it. And that should pretty much get everything prepped for your foot. If you have basic feet, in the sense that you don't have any major alignment issues, you're not dealing with any major feet issues. This mobility series, we're just doing basic major stuff, and in the sense that we're going to talk about injuries in the future. Okay, so we'll do a different video series on that. We'll actually get into actual spots that you guys are going to feel pain in the foot, and we'll talk about specifically how to work with that. But for now, just focus on mobilizing your feet. Because even if you have foot pain, what we're showing you today might end up solving it. So we appreciate you guys joining us. Anything else you want to add, Dr. Arms?
Just gotta understand that if your feet are messed up, it's the foundation for your body. So that's why we start a lot with the feet. That's why we decided to start with the feet with the videos. So if your feet are not moving correctly and not functioning correctly with the fascial lines, which we'll get in more detail later on, it'll affect the knees, the hips, the back, the shoulder, everything. Headaches. So it's really important. So please don't neglect your feet.
Awesome. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Make sure to like the video and subscribe so you guys don't miss out on any videos. And if you have any questions, just comment below. Let us know. We would love to take on your questions and more specifically answer what you guys are dealing with. So just let us know. And other than that, we'll see you next week.